Forget the Epstein files. I want to see the text messages of that Astronomer CEO that got caught cheating at the Coldplay concert.
Like, you went in public. It's not like you were inside your home having this affair and somebody was like outside from social media being like, what are they doing in here? Like, you were in public, publicly, like kissing and hugging. You were at a public place where maybe you were going to be on camera. Like, that is just a risk. You might think that it's private because it's a dark concert, but often there are these cameras. There is social media everywhere. If you are somebody that is on X, on TikTok specifically, you should know, like, whether it's a good thing or not, everybody's filming all the time.
Who blew the whistle? The two executives caught on that now infamous Coldplay kiss cam were first identified on a TikTok account of someone who apparently works at the company. Oh my god, that looks like Astronomer CEO Andy Byron and Astronomer Chief People Officer Kristin Cabot. That's gonna be one awkward board meeting, if not a couple divorces too. Whoever wrote the post was believed to have also attended the concert in Boston, and it sure seems that he or she works at the company. They knew Kristin Cabot's precise title in HR, and they also knew that both executives are married.
A 5-second camera pan at a Coldplay show turned 2 private lives into a public spectacle. The clip looked simple: smiles, a kiss, a stadium cheering. But the aftermath wasn't simple at all. Careers shifted. Narratives fractured, and then the so-called wife texts started flying around the internet.
I think cheating is an abomination, okay? And this man has a wife, he has children, these kids are gonna have to watch and see this. They don't look, I would be devastated if I was his wife.
A CEO and HR professional. Like, the definition of her job is to be like, by the way, don't do workplace romance. Like, that's one of her jobs.
If you're gonna have an affair, why would you bring her to a concert in public where everybody can see you? What if you even ran into someone you knew? Who cares about the Jumbotron? What if you ran into someone you knew? Huh?
We're asking one question without flinching. Did those alleged messages from untrusted sources actually mean anything? And is Kristin getting blamed more than Andy? We'll separate verified facts from unverified chatter. We'll flag rumors and untrusted sources, and we'll keep the pace fast so you never feel stuck in the weeds.
There's a part of people that they're looking at these two individuals and obviously not wanting the damning part for the family. Because I do say, you know, my heart goes out to the children and the partners of these people who are having to watch this all play out. But the bigger thing people aren't talking about is how a CEO of a company should never be dating the head of HR.
Here's the baseline. The people at the center are Andy Byron, then CEO of the data company Astronomer, and Kristin Cabot, Astronomer's head of HR. The moment was caught at Gillette Stadium during a Coldplay concert in mid-July 2025. The clip raced across TikTok and X within hours.
Society loves to be mad at cheaters. Like, remember Scandival, the Vanderpump Rules saga? It was like the biggest story of 2023. The president of the United States at the time weighed in on it because people love to be mad when people are caught cheating. We just relate to it. It's just something that like brings society together. And finally, I do think that it involves...
The video alone didn't prove a relationship. It showed 2 executives being affectionate in a very public place. But online reaction rarely waits for context. Comment threads exploded. Headlines followed, and pressure landed squarely on Astronomer to respond, even before anyone knew what was real versus rumored. Quick favor up front: if you appreciate clear labeling between confirmed facts and speculation, tap like right now and comment facts only so the algorithm knows you want responsible deep dives. It helps a lot and tells me to keep tracking this story as it evolves.
Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability. Recently, that standard was not met.
People's personal lives and their relationship status, and over the weekend, Andy Byron stepped down for his role. The new interim CEO...
It's a bit more personal than...
I think so. I have really had enough of it.
Within days, Astronomer moved fast. Both executives were placed on leave. Andy Byron resigned. Kristin Cabot resigned later as well. Pete DeJoy stepped in as interim CEO. These are public, on-the-record developments. Whatever you think about the clip, those career consequences are not in dispute.
This whole story now, lines, but the new interim CEO says that he hopes and wants that the company can move past the viral moment.
Then something unusual happened. The company leaned into satire. A splashy promo featuring Gwyneth Paltrow reframed attention onto Astronomer's product. Some called it brilliant damage control. Others said it stretched the news cycle and kept the scandal in the headlines longer than necessary. Either way, the viral momentum kept growing. Once a story crosses from business pages to pop culture, chaos follows. Fan accounts started posting timelines. Commentators aired theories. And that's when alleged wife-leaked texts popped up. Screenshots claiming payouts, private messages, and a whole hidden narrative behind the stadium moment.
Martino reports the internet has gone into overdrive, staggered by the pair's shameless and shameful behaviour.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Let's set a ground rule. Allegations are not facts. Some posts came from untrusted sources with unclear provenance, cropped screenshots, watermarked re-uploads, claims repeated without independent confirmation. That doesn't make them true or false. It makes them unverified and high risk for anyone repeating them as if they're settled.
Ever be a meme that's going to haunt this family forever, and for that part, it's not very funny to me. But at the same time, seeing him grow on the ground is pretty damn funny. I can't lie.
One recurring claim suggested Andy offered or spent significant money connected to an influencer named Sophie Rain. The number floated by rumor accounts was large and attention-grabbing. But the evidence shown publicly remains unverified. No mainstream outlet has authenticated the supposed DMS as genuine at the time of this recording. Meanwhile, the internet fixated on Andy's wife, Megan Kerrigan, sometimes listed as Megan Kerrigan Byron. Observers noted changes to her social media, including reduced visibility and, reportedly, removing Byron from certain profiles. That part has been widely reported, but beyond that, clarity fades quickly.
And can we talk about the employee that was with them? She obviously knows what's going on because she's there.
The company's board of directors accepted that resignation today, saying that it will begin the search for a replacement. A statement released on the company's LinkedIn page says this, that Astronomer is committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met.
A polished, formal statement attributed to Megan began circulating. Fact checkers flagged it as suspect. Some versions came from untrusted pages and impersonation-prone accounts. That's the pattern with scandals. Real details get mixed with fabricated ones, and the mix gets shared like it's all the same. If you're keeping score, here's the safe summary so far. The concert clip is real. The leadership changes at Astronomer are real. The celebrity promo is real. The wife-leaked messages and the glossy wife statement remain unconfirmed, alleged, and in some cases disputed by credible observers. Now to the question that won't go away. Is Kristin being scapegoated? It's impossible to ignore how comment sections often hammer the woman harder, especially when her role is HR. People projected expectations about policy, propriety, and leadership onto Kristin in a way that looked uneven compared to how Andy was discussed.
If I was directing that show, I would have put them up in a heartbeat. The body language that they were showing and the shot there, it's a good-looking couple. He's got his arms around her. I would have done it 10 times out of 10.
Scapegoating isn't just about who gets punished at work. It's about who gets framed as the villain in public narrative. Here, both executives left the company, but the tone and volume of criticism aimed at Kristin frequently ran hotter, even when the available facts didn't justify lopsided blame. Part of that is the HR paradox. When you run HR, the internet presumes you should be the conscience of the organization. If you fall short, real or perceived, the blowback multiplies. That doesn't prove anything about what happened. It explains why comment threads became harsher on her, sometimes in biased or gendered ways. Another accelerant was her background. Some articles highlighted that Kristin Cabot is connected by marriage to a well-known Boston family. That detail, whether relevant or not, gave gawkers a richer target. Elite-adjacent stories always get extra oxygen. The downside, it can tilt attention beyond the evidence. Meanwhile, Andy's name carried different baggage: CEO status, pay, power, and accountability. In business scandals, top bosses typically take the biggest formal hit. That happened here in title terms. But the cultural narrative often treats the woman as the morality plot twist, and we saw exactly that online.
Grace Springer first posted the video being seen around the world.
It was the reaction from Andy that kind of sealed the deal. He looked pretty guilty.
$1 business.
So Jumbo, it's really exciting for our company. We see a huge opportunity ahead of us.
It would appear the future
The
of
CEO of a billion-dollar business is in damage control after his affair with a colleague was exposed, of all places, on Kiss Cam.
Let's talk about the economy of rumor. Viral allegations generate views, clicks, and ad money. If a claim sounds explosive, it travels. The incentive to verify slowly is low. The incentive to publish quickly is high. That's why we keep repeating the labels. Alleged, unverified, rumors, untrusted sources, whenever the evidence isn't solid. Screenshots in particular are the internet's favorite evidence. But screenshots can be edited, misattributed, or cherry-picked. A cropped header, a missing timestamp, or an inconsistent font is all it takes to transform a plausible story into something completely different. Without original files and forensic review, we remain cautious. The influencer angle added intrigue. The name Sophie Rain appears across posts tied to those alleged messages. Again, compelling if true, but unverified in any authoritative way. Until a respected outlet authenticates the data or the parties confirm, it sits in the box marked rumor.
Forget the Epstein files. I want to see the text messages of that Astronomer CEO that got caught cheating at the Coldplay concert.
That's the HR lady's assistant. That's why they're able to go to concerts together, right? Because, don't worry, there's a third party there. HR is such trash, by the way. So she brought her underling there to cover for them. The CEO's wife found out about it. She's already removed his last name from her LinkedIn and Facebook. Apparently, many people at the company knew that he was sleazy, previously worked for him. Moral of the story, don't go to a Coldplay concert.
Back to Astronomer's handling. The company walked the classic playbook. Avoid moral declarations, speak about standards, mention leadership accountability, and pivot to future plans. That's not proof of anything scandalous. That's legal hygiene. Employment law, privacy concerns, and potential disputes demand careful wording. The Gwyneth Paltrow cameo polarized viewers. Some saw a clever, almost absurdist deflection turn a messy headline into a marketing moment. Others saw cynicism. Either way, it kept Astronomer trending far beyond the niche world of data tooling. The scandal's half-life stretched because the brand became part of the pop culture conversation. Where does Meghan Kerrigan fit now? Publicly, not much. Aside from social media changes and third-party chatter, there's no verified, on-the-record monologue from her explaining anything. Anything that looks like a polished open letter should be treated as potentially fabricated unless it's sourced from a verified platform. This is where responsible coverage matters. If you repeat untrusted sources without warning labels, you help launder misinformation into common knowledge. That's how reputations get wrecked for the wrong reasons. It's also how real issues get buried under a pile of noise. So, is Kristin being scapegoated? The honest answer is nuanced. In terms of corporate outcome, both she and Andy departed. That looks even. In terms of public narrative, the heat on Kristin has often been hotter and harsher. That imbalance says more about internet dynamics than about proof.
Chief Executive Andy Byron has tendered his resignation to the board of directors and they have accepted. The board will begin a search for our next chief executive as co-founder and chief product officer Pete DeJoy continues to serve as interim CEO.
Think about the spectacle. A lively stadium, a beloved band, a kiss cam moment. The visuals are sticky. People remember images, not policy memos. When a story starts as a meme, it rarely ends as a sober HR case study. It ends as a referendum on character, usually with missing evidence. The timeline also matters. Viral attention arrived before any coherent official narrative did. That vacuum invites rumors. Once audiences pick a side, every new claim, true or not, gets sorted into confirmation or dismissal. That's how alleged wife texts found traction. They fit a pre-built storyline. Meanwhile, small details got amplified because they felt cinematic. The last names, the city, the stadium, the celebrity cameo. These elements feed a binge-watch mindset. But scandal watching isn't the same as fact-finding. The incentives that keep you watching are not the same incentives that keep reporters cautious.
I would pay to be a fly on the wall in the office.
This is pretty viral stuff. Or do we have to get HR involved? I know that HR was involved.
Let's quickly timestamp the confirmed pieces again so you can separate signal from noise between the two. The concert happened in mid-July 2025. The clip circulated widely within hours. Excluded other department Andy Byron left his CEO role. Hinted that Slack messages, also exited. Internal emails, Pete and DeJoy was named recordings interim CEO. Documents that could prove favoritism. These are documented violations, not speculation. Possibly even now the gray zone. Any claim about payments, secret arrangements, influencer ties, or private messages remains alleged. Several posts recycling these claims originate from untrusted sources or tabloid-style outlets. Absent verified files, we treat them as unconfirmed and potentially inaccurate. What about accountability? Leaders are accountable for their decisions. That includes choices made in public that affect the company's reputation. It also includes the decision to keep personal matters private. You can believe both things at once. Accountability matters, and rumors shouldn't be treated as facts.
You're gonna have an affair. Why would you bring her to a concert in public where everybody can see you? What if you even ran into someone you knew? Who cares about the Jumbotron? What if you ran into someone you knew? Huh?
Coldplay would have moved on?
100%. I think if they acted natural, no one would have thought twice. What a cute couple. I mean, I'm sure people in their inner circle might have caught something, but I definitely wouldn't have posted that video.
The whistleblower, who says they were let go under unclear circumstances, believes their dismissal was directly tied to knowing too much. And now, they're done staying quiet. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Once a scandal becomes content, every participant, brands, media, creators, follows incentives. Brands want the story to morph into product talk. Media want clicks. Creators want watch time. You, the viewer, want answers. That ecosystem rewards speed over certainty. That's why our standard stays strict. When we say allegedly, reportedly, rumors, untrusted sources, unverified, we're reminding you and the algorithm that we're not laundering speculation into truth. If a claim turns out wrong, the damage doesn't vanish. People carry those labels for years. Does any of this excuse behavior shown on camera? Number the clip is what it is. Public displays create public reactions, but the internet often jumps from a 5-second video to a 500-page verdict. That leap is where scapegoating and misinformation thrive.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay?
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Can you feel the tension? Oh, look at these two. All right.
What are we gonna do? My wife is here.
You said she's in row P. She won't even see us.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Let's also acknowledge the human layer. These are people with families, teammates, and private lives. The line between curiosity and cruelty is thin online. If you've ever had a rumor spread about you, you know how impossible it is to stuff the story back in the box even after it's debunked. What would actually settle parts of this? Primary evidence released by verified parties, credible reporting with authenticated data, or legal filings that make specifics public. Short of that, we're dealing in probability, not certainty. And probability is not proof. Until then, the fairest working conclusion is simple. 2 executives faced real-world professional consequences after a viral moment. The public conversation has treated Kristin Cabot more harshly at times, arguably due to role expectations and bias. The splashiest claims about payouts and private messages remain unconfirmed. If new credible information emerges, we'll revisit this. But credible means verifiable. Not a screen grab with a caption, not a repost without metadata, not a friend of a friend whisper. You deserve better than that. And frankly, so do the people involved, whether you like them or not. So where does this story go next? Likely 3 tracks. First, corporate reset at Astronomer under interim leadership. Second, the PR aftershocks, as the brand tries to keep attention on its product. Third, the personal narratives, which may or may not surface in any official way. If you're on team, publish everything, consider the legal risk. If a claim is alleged and sourced from untrusted pages, repeating it as fact can cross lines, ethically and legally. That's why reputable outlets tread carefully. It's not cowardice, it's responsibility.
He actually bends down to get out of like squatting to get out of
No.
The sight. Honestly, they should have listened to me. Look, well, he's really hugging her. It's tight.
Yeah, you just lean in. You have to lean in at that point.
Right?
They're both married, not for long.
And if you're on team nothing to see here, remember the opposite risk. Corporate statements can be carefully worded for many reasons. Silence doesn't prove innocence any more than noise proves guilt. Most real-world stories live in that messy middle. Frustrating, but honest. To the scapegoat question one last time, ask yourself, if the genders were reversed, would the commentary sound the same? If the role weren't HR, would the tone change? If the family name carried less social weight, would the memes be as vicious? Those answers tell you something about our bias, not just their choices. We'll keep this under review. If reliable verification arrives, documents, on-record statements, or detailed reporting, we'll update with precision and we'll clearly say what changed. Until then, treat the wife texts claims as allegations and the flashy quotes as unverified noise. If you made it this far, you're the kind of viewer who values clarity over chaos. That matters. It shapes what stories thrive on this platform. If you want more careful breakdowns that move fast but don't cut corners, let me know which part of today's timeline needs a deeper dive. Before we wrap, a quick housekeeping note on names so text-to-speech doesn't stumble. Andy Byron, Kristin Cabot, Megan Kerrigan, sometimes listed as Megan Kerrigan Byron, Pete DeJoy, Gwyneth Paltrow, Chris Martin, Gillette Stadium, Astronomer, Sophie Rain, you're set. Final thought. A 5-second clip can collapse a decade of context. It can also invite 1,000 rumors to masquerade as truth. The only antidote is patient verification and a willingness to live with uncertainty until the evidence is real. If you stayed to the end, thank you. Subscribe if you want follow-ups only when there's verified progress, not recycled rumors. Comment your take. Is Kristin getting a harsher verdict than Andy, or did the professional outcomes land evenly? I'll feature the sharpest, most fair replies in the next update.